Before we begin, tell me in the comments where you're listening from. Maybe you're one of those people who believe that anyone born before 1970 should quietly step aside and let the younger generation take over. Maybe you assumed that once. You reach your 50s or 60s, your most important contributions are already behind you. Or maybe you've never paused to consider that your specific generation might hold the very key I've been searching for my entire life. If any of that sounds familiar, this conversation is for you. Asterisk, there's a message I've been trying to say without saying through the choices I've made, the relationships I've built, and the goals I've chased. It's a message for those born before 1970. The generation that lived through changes no other humans in history have experienced at that speed and scale. You carry a kind of wisdom that could decide whether my children grow up in a world that's truly worth living in. This isn't about retirement planning, aging gracefully, or any of the usual topics society assigns to people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. It's about something far more urgent and personal. The recognition that your generation uniquely understands what we've lost as a society, and that this understanding makes you the most important people in my life right now. Asterisk, I'm sharing this today because so many people born before 1970 have been convinced their season of maximum contribution has passed. They've been told their role is to step aside and let younger people lead. But everything I've seen as a son, as a father, and as a person trying to build something meaningful has convinced me of the opposite. The hidden message I've been carrying is simple. You are not becoming obsolete, you are becoming my teachers. The very experiences that some label outdated are exactly what qualify you to show the rest of us how to live with purpose, depth, and genuine human connection. Asterisk, this realization began in a small, quiet moment. I was watching my father, now in his 70s, sit with my son X to fix a broken toy. No internet search, no overnight delivery. No shortcut. Just patient hands, steady attention, and the calm determination of someone who learned to solve problems by thinking them all the way through. I watched X's face as my father explained not only how to repair the toy, but why it broke, how to prevent similar problems, and what this repair teaches about how things work in general. It wasn't just a fix. It was a lesson in persistence, understanding, and taking care of what you have. Asterisk, in that moment I understood something uncomfortable. I had been trying to give my children a quality I didn't fully possess. The ability to sit with a problem, patiently and thoroughly without sprinting toward the fastest available solution. My father's generation learned to approach challenges with deep attention. They learned to read people closely, to build relationships slowly, and to make decisions with the long term in mind instead of chasing immediate convenience. Most of all, they learned to find satisfaction in the process of working through something difficult, not just in crossing a finish line quickly. That patience created an inner steadiness I realized I'd been searching for in my own life. Asterisk, as I kept watching the way older family members interacted with my kids, patterns emerged. Whenever my children spent time with their grandparents, great aunts, and great uncles, they became different people. They slowed down, they listened more. Their conversations lingered and deepened. Simple activities held their attention longer. These elders carried something I'd been trying to manufacture through achievement and control, the ability to be fully present in ordinary moments, to find meaning in daily rhythms, and to remain emotionally steady regardless of what's happening outside. Asterisk, they didn't learn these qualities in a course or a weekend retreat. They learned them by living decade after decade in a world that demanded patience and rewarded persistence. A world where the pace itself taught character. And that, more than anything, is what I want my children to inherit. People born before 1970 grew up in a world that moved more slowly and required more of the inner muscles we rarely exercise now. Letters took days to arrive. Research meant a trip to the library and time in the stacks. Cooking required planning and preparation. Even entertainment asked for active participation, conversation, games, music you made yourselves rather than the passive consumption we default to today. That pace trained your generation to develop internal resources. My generation was never forced to build. You learn how to tolerate uncertainty instead of numbing it, how to take satisfaction in the process, not only in the results, how to focus on one thing at a time without needing constant stimulation, and maybe most importantly, how to form relationships through extended conversations, shared work, and long-term commitment, rather than through quick interactions and surface-level connection. You learn to read people carefully. You figured out social dynamics by paying attention, not by checking a notification. You navigated complex human situations without instant feedback or external validation. Those abilities formed a quiet emotional intelligence, a social wisdom missing in many of our lives today. I began to see my own relentless drive to achieve more, to control more, to accumulate more for what it often was, an attempt to compensate for the inner steadiness. Your generation built by learning to live patiently and to find meaning in ordinary experiences. The hidden message I've been trying to share is this: you possess something no award, no title, and no bank account can deliver the knowledge of how to live with depth, patience, and genuine satisfaction. Your generation treated life as something to be experienced fully, not merely optimized. You found meaning in relationships, neighborhoods, and daily routines, not only in extraordinary achievements or public applause. You learned to be content with gradual progress and to take real joy in the work of becoming, one careful step at a time. Those qualities, patience, persistence, the ability to draw meaning from ordinary moments, and the capacity for deep human connection, are exactly what I've been chasing through my professional accomplishments and personal relationships. I spent years trying to earn through success what you learn through living. That the most valuable things take time, attention, and care. When I look at people born before 1970 engaging with challenges, with relationships, and with everyday responsibilities, I see an approach that blends practical wisdom with emotional stability. You know how to stay calm in uncertainty, how to keep working when progress is slow, how to maintain perspective in both success and failure. You know how to show up in relationships without mentally running elsewhere, how to listen without rushing to fix, and how to offer support without trying to control the outcome. I've tried to learn these skills through therapy, reflection, and practice. You developed them naturally in a world that taught the value of depth over speed. The people I admire most share the same quiet confidence and grounded contentment that your generation, at its best, embodies. They know how to find meaning in ordinary moments. They carry hope through difficult seasons. They approach opportunities and obstacles with patience, because they understand a simple truth. Most things that matter grow slowly. They know how to build relationships rooted in genuine interest, and care not just mutual usefulness and how to find satisfaction in helping others succeed, not only in personal wins.
That's why I keep returning to this message. Your wisdom is the stability I've been trying to build. Your way of life is the pattern I want to model for my children. As the world accelerates, you are not fading. You are becoming more valuable, because you know how to live with depth and meaning, regardless of the noise around you. Part 3. The patience you learned in a slower world, the persistence you built by working on things that took time, and the relationship skills forged in face-to-face connection are exactly what the world needs most right now. My children need to learn from you how to find satisfaction in the process of tackling something difficult, how to build relationships through steady attention and care, and how to keep their center. When external pressures and temptations shout for their focus, I need to learn from you how to be content with gradual progress, how to find meaning in ordinary responsibilities, and how to treat life as a whole experience rather than a constant optimization problem. The future does not depend on younger generations replacing older ones. It depends on older generations teaching younger ones the patience, wisdom, and depth modern life makes harder to develop, but more essential to possess. Your role is not to step aside. Your role is to pass on the wisdom you earned in a different kind of world to people who desperately need it and have never had the conditions that naturally build it. The most important conversations I have are with people from your generation who can teach me what I never learned. How to be satisfied with enough. How to find joy in simple things. How to maintain relationships through patience and commitment. And how to live with the inner stability that comes from knowing what truly matters. You hold exactly what I've been searching for as an adult. The know-how to live with purpose, depth, and real contentment regardless of circumstances. The message I've been trying to communicate is clear. You are my teachers and my guides, the people I most need to learn from if I want a life defined by meaning rather than by control. This understanding has changed how I show up as a father and as a leader. Instead of trying to train my children in efficiency and optimization, I'm building chances for them to learn patience and depth from the elders in their lives. I arrange extended visits with grandparents, great-aunts, and trusted family friends from your generation because I finally understand that these relationships give my kids something I can't give them alone. Living examples of contentment, wisdom, and peace. When my children spend a week with their grandmother, they come back different in ways that months of expensive programs can't touch. They're calmer, more thoughtful, drawn to simple activities that require sustained attention rather than constant stimulation. They learn to take satisfaction in helping with ordinary tasks, cooking, gardening, organizing, work that rewards patience and care more than speed and novelty. Most importantly, they feel what it's like to be truly seen by someone who isn't distracted by the next alert or racing toward the next achievement. Your generation understands something I'm still learning. The most important work is often the quietest work, the daily attention to relationships, the patient cultivation of character, the steady commitment to values even when no one is watching. You found meaning in raising children well, keeping a marriage through difficulties, building friendships that lasted decades, and strengthening communities by showing up. These accomplishments rarely get headlines, but they are the foundation underneath everything else. Without people who know how to create and sustain human connection, all our innovation is empty. I've come to believe that professional success is only as valuable as the deeper purposes. It serves creating security for family, contributing to community well-being, and leaving the world better than we found it. And right now, in a season of rapid change, many of the social structures and cultural practices that once offered stability and meaning have been shaken. Young people are struggling with anxiety, depression, and a sense of aimlessness, not because they're weak, but because they haven't had the chance to learn the life skills your generation absorbed through experience. They need mentors who can show them how to build lasting relationships, take joy in gradual progress, keep hope during hard times, and create meaning through service rather than through applause. Your generation is living proof that dignity, purpose, and contentment are possible in any circumstance. You demonstrate that happiness comes not from having more, but from appreciating what you have and using it well. Your wisdom isn't just personally helpful, it's essential to preserving the values and practices that make civilization work. Someone must keep and transmit the knowledge of how to live well, how to maintain communities, and how to find meaning in ordinary life. That transmission can't happen through books alone. It requires relationship, time shared across generations, where older people offer not only what they know, but how they live.